Hello dear students. Today we are going to discuss about migration in fishes. I am Dr. P. Rosina George, Assistant Professor in Zoology, working in St. Joseph College for Women, Visakhapatnam. So we are going to discuss about what is migration, what are the types of fish migration on the basis of needs, movement of fishes during the migration, and what is the significance of fish migration. The learning outcomes are: you will learn different types of migration in fishes. You will be able to get information about the migration mechanism in fish. You will be able to recognize migratory economic species, and you can understand the significance of fish migration. So what is migration? In ecology, migration is an animal behavior of mass movement of animals from one place to another. The purpose for migration varies accordingly with the types of animals. Migratory behavior of fish is a regular phenomenon. Their journey is purposed mainly for feeding and so let's see what are the different types of migration on the basis of needs. First is alimentary or feeding migration. It is a migration which is done for search of feeding ground. It occurs when food resources get exhausted. Gametic or spawning migration occurs during breeding season in search for the suitable spawning ground. Climatic or seasonal migration is a migration which is done in search for suitable climatic condition. Osmomigratory migration is done for water and electrolyte balance from sea to freshwater and vice versa in fishes. Juvenile migration is a larval migration which happens for from spawning ground to the feeding habitats of their parent. Let's see what are the different movement of fishes during the migration. Drifting movement. It is a passive movement of fish which occurs along with water currents. Dispersal movement. It is a random locomotory movement of fish from a uniform habitat to diverse direction. Swimming movement. It is an oriented movement of fish either toward or away from the source of stimulus. Denatant and contranatant movement. It is an active swimming movement, and denatant movement is swimming with the water current, while contranatant movement is swimming against the water current. Let's discuss what are the different types of fish migration. The migration of some fishes is a regular journey and is truly an innate animal behavior. Fish migration are classified into following different types. First is diadromous migration. It is the migration of fish between sea and freshwater. Next is potamodromous migration. It is a freshwater migration of fish from one habitat to another for feeding or spawning. Oceanodromous migration. It is the migration of fish within sea in search of suitable feeding and spawning ground. Let's discuss all the different types of migration in detail. Diadromous migration. It is a migration of fish between sea and freshwater. As we all know, most of the fishes are restricted to either freshwater or seawater. Changes in habitat may cause osmotic imbalance in these fishes. However, some fishes regularly migrate between sea and freshwater and have perfect osmotic balance. They are the true migratory fish. Diadromous migration is of two types. Anadromous migration. It is the migration of marine fishes from sea to freshwater for spawning. Fishes spend most of their life living and feeding in the sea. They only migrate during breeding season to the river for spawning ground. For example, salmon, hilsa, lamprey, they all comes under anadromous migration. Salmon migrate for breeding during winter from sea to river. While migrating, some physiological changes occurs in the fishes, like they stop feeding during journey, changes of color from silver to dull reddish brown is seen, gonads mature in these fishes, and they select suitable spawning ground and make a saucer-like nest in which female lays eggs and male releases smelt over them. Juvenile larva hatched out from the egg is known as alevins. Alevins then transform into par and metamorphose into adult when returned to the. Another type is catadromous migration. It is the migration of freshwater fishes from river to sea during breeding season for spawning. Example is eel, Anguilla species. Both European eel, that is Anguilla anguilla or Anguilla vulgaris, and the American eel, which is scientifically known as Anguilla rostrata, they migrate from the continental rivers to Sargasso Sea off Bermuda in South Atlantic for spawning, crossing Atlantic Ocean. So before and during migration, some physiological changes occur in their bodies, like deposits of large amount of fat is seen in their bodies, which serve as reserve food during the journey. Color changes occurs from yellow to metallic silver gray. Digestive tract shrinks and stops feeding. Eyes get enlarged and vision sharpens. Other sensory organs also become sensitive in these fishes. Skin serves as a respiratory organ, and gonads get matured and enlarged. They lay eggs in suitable spawning ground and are fertilized by males. After spawning, they die. The larvae hatch out and develop into young eel and finally return to river. Another type is potamodromous migration. It is a freshwater migration of fish from one habitat to another for feeding or spawning. Examples are carps and catfishes. Oceanodromous migration is a migration of fish within sea in search of suitable feeding and spawning ground. Example, Clupia, Thumas, tuna. Latitudinal migration is a migration of fish from north to south and vice versa. It is a climatic migration. Example, swordfish migrate north in spring and south in autumn. Vertical migration is a daily migration of fish from deep to the surface and vice versa for food protection and spawning. Example is a swordfish. Usually it moves vertically downward to greater depth for food. Shoreward migration is a migration of fish from water to land. However, it is a temporary migration. For example, eel migrate from one pond to another pond via moist meadow grass. Let's see what is the significance of fish migration. Fish migration is essential to find suitable feeding and spawning ground. It helps for protection from predators, and it also helps to survive from extreme climatic conditions. It increases genetic diversity, and it is an adaptational characters for survival and. Let's take a pause and solve these questions. The type of migration in which the fishes living in freshwater descends to the sea for spawning is termed as macropodous, anadromous, catadromous. Which one is a migratory fish? Ribbonfish, carp, salmon, shark? Answers are the type of migration in which fishes living in freshwater descend to the sea for spawning is termed as catadromous migration. And salmon is a migratory fish. To summarize this topic, fish migration is mass relocation by fish from one area or body of water to another. Many types of fish migrate on a regular basis on time scales ranging from daily to annually or longer, and over distances ranging from a few meters to thousands of kilometers. Such migrations are usually done for better feeding or to reproduce, but in other cases, the reasons are unclear. These are some of the references. Thank you.